I was interested in knowing about the importance of somebody telling their story and us hearing what Jack's version of events are, rather than simply going on other people's version of events. What value is that, hearing things from Jack's point of view?
It's definitely seeing the person behind the diagnosis, concentrating on the person rather than anything else, as if you were meeting that person for the first time, and then make your own judgments. And don't so much concentrate on the diagnosis, but what interests that person as a human being, as an individual.
I think it's key trying to understand how the person is experiencing their experiences, to try and get a grip on what's happening as they define it. Because plenty of us put other labels on people's experience, but it's important to understand how the person is experiencing what they are. Sorry, I interrupted something.
I was just going to say that I was pleased that by the end of that interview that enough trust has been established so that Jack was being treated as a person rather than as somebody, as an ill person. He's been able to talk to as a as a real person with real interest, and the fact he liked his bike. And he's, you know, I felt that was quite important that had come out by the end, and there was that trust established, and Jack was actually looking forward to talk further to other members of the staff.
Yeah, that's right. And when he did a bit of appropriate self-disclosure about, the nurse being mistaken for a biker, it was almost like they had shared a bit of common ground then. So I really like that.
So one of the first of the Tidal Model 10 commitments is value the voice. Yeah? Any comments on valuing the voice of the person?
It's not necessarily I'm looking at valuing the voice, is that how you come up with Tidal Model as to make it as being something new. I think what we should be actually trying to get across the fact that the Tidal Model as a name is new, but the training to relay good practice is something which I believe has been going on since nursing started. And I don't think we ought to be frightening nurses by letting them think it's something new being imposed, more as something that they should really have grasped on, that we're now giving a new name to. And let the fear sort of disappear by not having a change.
Does anybody else have anything to say about it not being new?
I think it's about reprioritising. What for me seems to be key is the relationship between the nurse and the service user stroke patient. And I think Lloyd's right. It's not about new, but it's somehow been, I think in some areas it has been lost sight of. And with all the problems that exist on wards, especially on acute psychiatric wards, sometimes I think, it does get lost. And I think about reprioritising it, and perhaps it has to be given a new name and a new title for it to become important again.
I think one would hope that nurses join their profession because they are caring people. They have heart for their fellow human beings, and I think it's really just important to know how to relate as one human being to another.
I think it's worth remembering that the pressures on inpatient psychiatric services are now greater than they've ever been. With the advent of care in the community, the resources for inpatient wards have diminished, and in addition, most of the inpatients tend to be people who are most at risk, and that's why they're not being cared for actually in the community. So that makes the inpatient ward a doubly difficult place in which to work, and I admire all nurses who are able to do this work well.